Good morning, Francis. The U.S. presidential election had significant impact on the quantum eMotion stock. I think your share price lifted nearly 238%. Can you tell us a little bit more about why you think Trump's presidential election had such an impact on your stock?
I guess, yes, it definitely had an impact, but it's only one of the elements, I would say, that favorable momentum that could be created, or regarding quantum stock in general. Part of it, obviously, it's the election in itself where the president, I think, showed strong interest, and particularly for pushing cryptocurrencies, I think mainstream. And with that, obviously, I think when you're starting today to talk about cryptocurrencies, and we'll talk in a few minutes about it, I think quantum technology is becoming very important because of I would say, the risk associated for cryptocurrency and blockchain on the power of quantum computers. And obviously, you have to think about cybersecurity when you say that. And this is one of the elements. I would say there is also, I think, a lot of, I would say, announcement that's been done by, for example, scientific progress, like Google, when Google, basically announced that you had a new chip, the famous, I think the name Willow, that's how they call their chip, and that chip is highly performant and less prone to errors. So I think this is resulting in an acknowledgement of the availability of quantum computers being available sooner than later.
And of course, let's not underestimate the impact of the significant strategic alliances that Quantum eMotion has recently announced. Can you tell us more about your commercial alliance with GreyBox Solutions and Becton Dickinson?
Yes, this was a very important milestone. We've been working on that for almost at least 2 years. When, as you know, I have a very strong background in healthcare. This is I spent most of my career in that industry, and we identified that one of the very important components of modern medicine was telemedicine, and particularly during COVID, this telemedicine and cybersecurities were very much exacerbated because patients who were, as you know, we were all stuck at home. They were very difficult to go back to the hospital, and particularly for chronic patients. So, technologies were starting to exist at the time, and they were largely used because the only way to actually follow up patients with chronic was to use these platforms called digital therapeutics, where you can remotely control, educate it and monitor, patients from abroad, in fact, from a distance. This is very important because obviously, for example, one nurse, instead of at the same time that she can take care of one patient, with these platforms, they can take care of 100 patients. So you can imagine the advantage to do these, to use these platforms. But the problem that comes up with it is that now the patients are not at the hospital, and you're transmitting information over the internet, and security becomes extremely important. So this is what we do. In fact, our platform that we developed that is quantum safe, basically that creates, allows the transmission of very important information and very well, I would say, very important information and very valuable information. So what we're doing is actually trying to secure completely the communication between servers that have these platforms and the patient at home that's receiving. In fact, we exchange information with the servers from an hospital or any doctor or any hospital having these platforms, and providing a service.
And this platform is called Sentry-Q. Is that correct?
The protection that we call it, yes, in our platform is called Sentry-Q.
Yeah. And you've been in healthcare for quite a while, but in addition to the recent strategic alliance that was just announced, what was it, last week, you also made a significant announcement with the block for dealing with threats to blockchain security. Would you like to
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about that deal?
Yes, this is also an important deal that came very close to the other. It's we deal with a company or an ecosystem called Crown, Technologies in the U.S. It's a kind of a new ecosystems where they're going to launch their cryptocurrency, but at the same time providing a multitude of service to help and enhance actually the usage of cryptocurrency for the ones who are going to buy these cryptocurrencies. They will be able to invest in cryptocurrencies and using the tools and the platform. And this is I've never seen, I think, an ecosystem in cryptocurrencies and blockchain as rich as this one, and I believe that's going to be a big success. And again, blockchain, it's all made actually of encryption. And what we do with our technology is improving the quality of the encryption. So we helping, in fact, not only to enhance the security to prevent future quantum attacks, but we also improve the mechanism of the transaction in the blockchain itself. It's called improving the consensus mechanism. So there is a huge advantage, in fact, to use our technology in crypto. And we were, I would say, always also, we started to work on this 2 years ago. We have several patents, the usage of our QRNG and our technology in the cryptocurrency at the time where nobody really believed us, and now actually it's everybody's running after quantum technologies, even in blockchain.
So this QRNG technology, and as you've just described in an explosive sector, the blockchain sector, you must have everybody knocking down your doors, or
That
is
is,
Crown Technologies going to be white labeling and representing you to this market?
yes, there is right now. There's a recognition awareness actually that quantum computers are coming sooner than later. I would say before, I think, before the last summer, we were talking about quantum computers coming maybe in 10 years or maybe 20 years. Now we're talking about maybe 3 or 5 years, particularly after the announcement of Google recently. So it created a sort of wave of probably of even, I would say, terror, for, the blockchain industry and the owners of cryptocurrency, because without getting too technical, but one of the main encryption used in blockchain and cryptocurrencies is elliptic. It's called elliptic encryption, and that will take a few nanoseconds to quantum computers to break it. So if we don't do nothing, all the bitcoins will disappear. When the quantum computers will be used by cyber criminals. So it's
Well,
very scary,
so for those of us that don't have experience and in-depth knowledge on quantum computers, and undoubtedly the cybersecurities are going to be significant, can you perhaps give us kind of a basic understanding, a little bit more of an understanding about how these quantum computers are going to change our lives when it comes to cybersecurity, and how quantum emotion with your randomness theory offers an even more exciting attribute for shareholders out there looking at your stock right now?
Okay, so quantum computers, are in fact, when they will be available in particularly mainstream, it's going to be a revolution in the way that we actually use computers, because the foundation, or till today, actually, we still use. Information is carried actually under the form of bits. It's 0, 1. We have very powerful computers today, but it's still the architecture, the way it functions, is very still simple. There are we are measure actually everything can be written between actually a combination of 0, 1 numbers. I mean, every information that is in the actually that we use in our current computers. With quantum computers, we're not talking about bits anymore. We are qubits. So that means that we, instead of having 0, 1, we created an infinite, I mean, stages between 0 and 1. So you don't want it to go more in details of that. It's pretty complex. But that means that now, I mean, the power of calculation that you're going to have with quantum computers is such that there will be, I mean, depending on, I think a progressive generation to generation of these quantum computers, but we're talking about going from today, I would say, if today would the power or performance were 1, it would be these quantum computers will bring a power of calculation of billions of trillions times more powerful that we have today. So you can imagine, what these computers can do compared to the ones we're using today. And what you're going to see, it's actually, for example, if it's used by cyber criminals, you will see them, in fact, cracking, I mean, encryptions just by the sheer power of the calculation. And some of the encryptions used today in different areas are way more, even more sensitive to what these quantum computers can do. So it's the power. In summary, you can say that these computers have such a sheer power of calculation and factorization, what's what we call in technical terms, that there are very few things that can resist to that power. But we have actually solutions. And one of the solutions is using, for example, what we've developed in our platform with a combination of the QRNG plus using post-quantum, in what's called post-quantum encryption. A combination of two, it's, I think, extremely efficient because a QRNG was I would say, a producer, a generator of pure random numbers, okay, actually improve any encryption, even the one was used today, by using these pure random numbers. That makes actually, that allows the encryption to have no pattern. So the pattern is usually what the cyber criminals are trying to, to look, when to crack any encryption, they're trying to find a pattern, even a complex pattern. When you use pure random numbers, there is no pattern. And so that means that your encryption becomes indeterministic.
Well, I'll tell you, if that isn't exciting enough, dare I ask you, what should shareholders anticipate in this upcoming 2025? What goals do we have here? Are you going to be moving as quick as these quantum computers? Because I must confess, this is absolutely fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was time. I thought that, look, as you know, it's not easy to be the CEO of a public company in junior market in Canada, for example, as you can imagine, because you literally become a prophet, I mean, about something would happen in the future. And prophets are not very well treated at the beginning. And suddenly you realize that, oh my God, it's exactly at the moment what we're starting to see now. And why is that? I mean, by the way, the next year, 2025, is going to be the quantum year, the quantum of quantum technologies. It's pretty funny in terms of that. So it's very relevant because there is now, I think, a momentum that's being created for what we said at the beginning of our talk. There's a conjunction, I mean, awareness, technology, plus I think there is a concern. Cryptocurrencies are back as you know, in the favor since the last summer. And I think the blockchain in itself, who is the underlying technology, beneath cryptocurrencies, is here to stay. I think they will when it's still not mainstream today. There is not so many people using crypto who own cryptocurrencies because they still have, it's not that easy to use it still. But when it would come, I think it's going to be a huge revolution, in the way we doing finance, for example. because it will allow us to, for example, you and I, to exchange, value without passing for any institution, neither the government, neither the bank systems and everything. We'll be able to exchange value like that, where it's not possible today, unless you are close to you and I give you, I think, a banknote of $10, that's easy. You're physically present. But when we separate by distance, we cannot do that anymore. But blockchain allow us to do that again. And this is the power of cryptocurrencies.
For everybody who has just enjoyed this wonderful interview, thank you so much, Francis. Please go to the Quantum eMotion website listed below. And happy holidays to you, Francis.
Happy holidays to everybody. And nice to have, to be here. Thank you.